It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and today we're going to talk about the Beast Master Hunter hero that is Astrid and her pet Lucas. Now, Lucas has many forms depending on what skin you choose, but she often takes the form of a nice, fuzzy, comfortable-looking animal like a rabbit or a tiny cat, until Lucas goes into rage form, and then it just becomes this mean bear wolf tiger craziness that is is kind of fun to watch. Astrid Lucas is a very unique hero in that she's one of the few heroes in the game that has a different style of energy bar. She uses a rage bar instead of an energy bar, but we'll talk about that in just a second after we talk about the different tier lists. So my unique tier lists, and I'm sure if you guys have been watching my tier list videos, you guys are well versed on my tiers. There are effectively 6 tiers of heroes that I group every hero into. You have your new puppy tier, which is your absolute favorite hero. So if Astrid and Lucas is your favorite hero, then that would be a new puppy tier hero, and you need to use Astrid and Lucas in your main team no matter what anybody says, me or any of the Reddit, Discord, Facebook gurus. Put that hero in your team. You have water bottle tier, you have stop sign and milk crate tier, which effectively make up half of the water bottle tier each. You have PvE hero tier, and these are heroes that are only good in campaign, tower, and outland, but not anywhere else. And then finally you have dead battery tier, and these are bugged or too weak heroes. Okay, so these are heroes that I would not recommend to any player, new or veteran. All right, so let's take a look at Astrid's character selection screen, her biography and all of that. She is a rear line fighting warrior / marksman. I believe she's only one of a handful of marksmen. I'm sorry, a handful of warriors in the game. Excuse me. And the reason why she's a hybrid is because, of course, Lucas. So the marksman half is Astrid, and when Lucas goes into rage mode, Lucas is the warrior. Primary stat is agility, as most marksmen and a good majority of the warriors are. And she has 4 skills that do very well on top of each other. Now, in the grand scheme of heroes, Astrid and Lucas is one of those heroes that all 4 of their skills work very well together. They're pretty well thought out, and if it wasn't for a slight bug that occurred earlier this year and through in the later part of last year, Astrid and Lucas would be super important. But she is one of the newer heroes that have been released, and often is considered the worst of the new wave of heroes, hence the title of this video. I hope it wasn't too clickbait for you. So let's talk about her 4 skills. We have Go For It Lucas, and this is her signature ability, her ultimate, her activated ability. Astrid accumulates 17% rage with each attack instead of energy. So her rage generation is different from the energy generation stats, such as, dodges and damage taken, damage done, kills, skills firing off. Once her rage reaches 100%, Astrid will use her first skill, and Lucas transforms into rage form and rushes to the front row, tanking all of the enemy's attacks. So she takes all of the enemy's attacks onto itself, I should say. Lucas doesn't take any damage. However, each attack deprives Lucas of 7% of his rage. While fueled by rage, the pet attacks the nearest opponent, so usually the tank. Once its rage runs out, the pet will revert to its passive form. Important fact to note, while Lucas is in rage form and up front tanking damage, attacking that frontline hero, Astrid is still attacking. So every time Astrid attacks, Lucas gains more rage towards its total, and thus it lasts longer. This is going to become very important whenever you think about what teams to build Astrid and Lucas with, as heroes that speed up Astrid is going to allow Lucas to be in rage form for longer. So that's a little hint as to where I find Astrid and Lucas to be in the tier list. Skill number 2, her green skill. Astrid increases her attack and skill speed by 9 seconds. If her pet is in rage form, the attack speed bonus affects it instead of Astrid. The pet also gets this buff when transformed to rage form. So I believe this was where the bug used to be, but it has since been fixed. Very strong attack, very good overall. This is akin to Kira's attack speed buff, and I think this takes it one step further. And in a lot of ways, Astrid and Lucas is kind of like the single target version of Kira. All right, so think about Astrid and Lucas in that regard, the single target version of Kira. More on that in just a second. You have Predator's Charge, the blue ability, and this is a passive skill. As long as Lucas is in rage form, each consecutive attack will deal increasing damage. So this on Kira is a different kind of skill. So this is kind of a little bit of a departure, but Lucas, the longer you keep Lucas in rage form, the longer you keep Lucas up there tanking and doing damage, the more damage he will do with each hit, with each attack he does. Okay, so if you speed him up with Rampant Nature, you speed him up with other heroes who speed up heroes, this could be a lot of damage really quickly. And then finally, the Violet ability, which is an extremely interesting ability when you start looking at frontline heroes like Kark and Kira, Qing Mao, maybe even Yasmin now. This is a passive skill. Each of the heroes' attacks marks the enemy hit with the tracker's mark for 4 seconds. And this looks like a little gear, a little cog above the enemy's head. If the pet hits a marked enemy, it is stunned for a short period. So I did a video about combining Astrid and Lucas with Cleaver and pulling the rear hero, which is often Martha or a healer or a squishy damage dealer, to the front, so that Astrid, not only could Cleaver do his damage to that front, to that rearmost hero, but also Astrid and Lucas could stun that hero to prevent them from doing damage or healing or whatever. And I still feel like that's a very strong component to an Astrid and Lucas team. So 4 skins. We have the default skin, which is agility. We have the devil skin, which is physical attack. We have the spring skin, which is also physical attack. And then finally, the new romantic skin that makes her look a little bit like Elton John with a cuddly teddy bear until, of course, the teddy bear goes berserk. We have the romantic skin that does armor penetration. So the skin level order, if you had all skins unlocked and you were trying to, level them in a particular order, this is the order that I would level them in. But I want to take a quick beat, real quick, and talk about Astrid and Lucas overall before I move on to the glyphs. Actually, no, let's talk about the glyphs and then we'll come back to this little side piece. So speaking of the glyphs, armor penetration, physical attack, agility, health, and then armor. And then, and so that's the order that I would level them in. But then her artifact weapon is Princess's Musket. That is a armor artifact, which is the interesting part about Astrid and Lucas. The one that I think a lot of people think that causes her to be of a lower quality of the newer heroes than some of the newer heroes. So I'll talk about that in just a second. Her Alchemist's Folio is armor penetration, physical attack, and her ring is agility. I would level up the book and then the ring and then the weapon, depending on how you're going to use Astrid and Lucas. So let's talk about Astrid and Lucas holistically while we look at the tier lists, and you can kind of help me decide where I feel that she lands. So the big issue is Astrid and Lucas is a single target damage dealer, usually targeting the front hero. Okay, so you need to take advantage. You need to take advantage of that skill somehow. You need to have a hero that pushes enemies back, or that takes the tank out of the fight, or that brings another enemy forward. So you need somebody like Chaba to swallow the front tank. You need somebody like Faceless to push that tank back. You need somebody like Cleaver to pull the rearmost enemy forward, so that Astrid and Lucas can really, really be effective on that second line warrior or that support hero that's in the second position. And this would be all well and good. However, she does not provide plus attack or plus armor penetration as a damage dealing hero. So if you consider Astrid and Lucas a damage dealing hero, I think that you would be mostly right, but I consider her more of a support hero. Okay? In fact, one of the most effective ways to take down Kark teams is by stacking armor. And one of the most effective ways to take down a lot of Kira teams is by stacking armor. And that's the case for any physical attacking teams that are out there. So one of the Astrid and Lucas's great perks is her artifact weapon that will stack armor on your team, and also provide an additional tank. What I think might be happening very soon is we're going to be moving into a single target meta. Now that Yasmin has been released, and Yasmin is the queen of single target damage, unless of course you have Helios, I think that Astrid and Lucas is going to be a valuable hero to have leveled up to swap in against certain teams. But I also feel like if you built a team around Astrid and Lucas, you'd be very effective. I mentioned earlier using Cleaver and Astrid and Lucas. Throw in Martha to make Astrid and Lucas attack faster, or Thea to make Astrid attack faster to get more rage. I think you've got a very strong basis of a team. One of the most popular teams on mobile uses Astrid and Lucas with Daredevil and Elmer. And I'm incredibly excited about leveling up that team whenever I start a new mobile account here shortly. So there are some pretty strong teams that involve Astrid and Lucas, but the question that we have to answer here is, where does she fit? Now, she had a bug. She had a bug that relegated her to dead battery tier whenever I initially discussed her during my live stream. However, since then that bug has been fixed. It's been shown to be fixed on both platforms, so she's no longer dead battery tier. She is not the easiest hero in the world to get unless you're on a new server on Facebook, or of course playing on mobile, and you can just buy her soul stones on mobile, I believe, from the merchant. So where does she fit in? Now, I've already expressed interest around building a team around Astrid and Lucas, taking advantage of her skill set. You could go two different directions. You could rely on Lucas as a tank and the armor buff that she provides to maybe put a less tanky hero up front, such as Anvari or Krista or Jorgen. So you could use, or Elmer. You could use Elmer even, right? You could use Lucas in place of a traditional tank, as well as a tanky support or a tanky second line hero. So in that regard, you can build a team that way. Another way that you could build it would be around targeting specifically the second hero in the opponent's team, using Cleaver, using Faceless, using other heroes that push back that front line. Maybe Fox would be good. And in that way, you could chew up the second, the team could be designed to chew up the second hero. So you could effectively build a team around Astrid and Lucas. But I feel like I am going to make an adjustment here. I'm going to make a statement here. I feel like you could sub Astrid and Lucas into just about every team to take advantage of her armor skill and her additional, stuns and additional tanking damage of your main hero. I think that Astrid and Lucas is a water bottle tier hero. Now, I've made a couple of bold claims here, and some of you may not agree with this. I think that Astrid and Lucas, overall, the power level is just a half step behind what you need in order to build a team around. I think that you're going to be much better off building a team around other damage dealers, such as Daredevil, of course, Yasmin, Kira, Kark, the twins. I think you're going to be much better off building teams around those. But I still feel like you can build an effective team around Astrid and Lucas. And I still feel like I can sub in Astrid and Lucas into my Kark team and beat consistently Kira teams. Once they're equally leveled up. Obviously, max testing aside, once they're leveled up to a decent power level, the armor gain from Astrid and Lucas's artifact weapon plus the additional tanking that Lucas provides will help you against certain high damage output front load teams. Okay, so it is my opinion that she is water bottle tier. I am excited to debate this one. I feel like Astrid and Lucas is underestimated, misunderstood, and can be used in ways that people don't generally think about using her. And her aesthetic is really cool. She's the only hero with rage. She has a pet. I think she's a really cool hero. And her skins are awesome too. And her skins are pretty awesome too. So with all that being said, let's talk about in the comments down below on Discord, on Facebook Messenger, however you want to do it. Convince me otherwise. Convince me that she does not belong in water bottle tier. That is, you would build a team around her, and she could bring utility to any team. You could sub her into a Twins team against certain teams. You could sub her into a Kira team against certain teams. You absolutely could. And you absolutely could build a team around her unique strengths and weaknesses. So that's why I feel that she's a water bottle tier hero. And I'd love for you to change my mind. Just a reminder today, guys, that we do not stream on Thursday at noon. We always, the schedule is posted all over the place on when my live stream is going to be active. So I hope to join you there at twitch.tv/herowarscentral. And yeah, I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.